It takes a special kind of player to do this as a teenager.
This kid can do no wrong.
This is Rio Ngumoha, and he fulfilled every kid's footballing dream, coming off the bench and scoring a last-minute winner in a massive game.
Being able to finish like he finished, he looked like a player that I've been playing for a very long time, how composed he was.
In front of more than 50,000 fans, the 16-year-old stayed calm and curled the ball into the corner right at the end of stoppage time, giving Liverpool a huge win just days before his 17th birthday.
But if that 16-year-old does not score that goal, the conversation we're having about Liverpool right now is completely different.
In the process, he also became the 4th youngest scorer in Premier League history.
And you look at those names there.
Wayne Rooney.
It's a moment that instantly put Rio on the map.
For the playing, but he announced himself.
And yes, I'm taking Slot's advice and I'm just calling him Rio.
What was his last name, you said?
Ngumoha. How do you say it on it?
I just always say Rio.
So when you hear me say Rio, I'm talking about the Liverpool youngster, not the guy who cheated on his dying wife. For such a young player, making an impact in a game that big is insane. That goal didn't just win Liverpool 3 points. It showed everyone that a new star had arrived.
He's shown himself in a big moment, high-pressured moment, composure at such a delicate stage of the game.
I was shocked to see Sloth throw a kid into such a hostile game. For most of the match, it felt like a WWE fight rather than football.
Now, when I heard you correctly, you were saying a football match. I'm not too sure if I saw a football match today.
A lot of hype had been made for this matchup, and a big reason for it was because of the whole Isak situation. But then the intensity of the game got even higher when 10-men Newcastle brought the game level. They had 10 men because Draco Malfoy decided to try and end Van Dijk's career. I actually like Gordon as a player, but this stat is shocking. More red cards than goal contributions, while Isak was watching the game as the ball boy. When Liverpool was back against the wall, Slaw looked to his bench. Enter Rio, making his Premier League debut. In the 11th minute of added time, Liverpool worked it up nicely. Salah slipped the ball into the box, Szoboszlai executed a perfect dummy, and it fell for Rio. Unmarked, he stayed calm and drilled the shot into the far corner, leaving the keeper with no chance.
Lovely dummy, Ngumoha!
This is a very difficult finish, by the way. It's very easy to send this to the moon, especially if you're a young player who's just excited at the opportunity of getting an open shot. So the fact that he finished so clinically shows just how good he is. Now, a fun fact about this goal: 9 out of the 10 Liverpool outfield players all got a touch of the ball in this play. The one guy who didn't touch the ball once arguably had the biggest impact, and that's Dominik Szoboszlai, who made the dummy that allowed the ball to drop to Rio, who put it into the back of the net. Everyone's buzzing about this debut winner, and for good reason. When a 16-year-old steps up like that, it's hard not to get excited.
Young players who go on to have great careers, you can always pinpoint a moment or something special very early on.
For the Liverpool fans, it's like seeing a young Michael Owen or Raheem Sterling break through. By the way, imagine being a Newcastle fan at this point. You just saw your team lose a game that you dominated in, and the winner came from a teenager, and then on top of that, the team that you just lost to is actively trying to take away your superstar. I mean, their head must be on Jupiter. Now, every star has a rise, and Rio's is a great one. His story starts in East London, where he was born on August 29, 2008, into a football-loving family with Nigerian roots. From a young age, it was clear that he had something special. By the time he was just 8 years old, he joined Chelsea's academy, which was one of the best setups in England, and he began developing his game there. For the next 8 years, he climbed the ranks at Chelsea, building a reputation as one of the academy's brightest talents. Coaches loved his creativity, his speed, and his fearlessness, and he was already showing at a young age that he can change the trajectory of a match. One standout moment came in April of 2024, when he scored in the Under-17 Premier League Cup final, helping Chelsea beat Wolves 3-1. Scoring in a big youth final showed his knack for turning up when it mattered the most, something that we saw him do later on an even bigger stage. But at Chelsea, there was a problem that many youngsters face, and that is breaking into the first team. The senior squad was stacked with expensive signing, and no matter how talented you were, the opportunities were slim. As a result, Liverpool saw their chance. They viewed Rio as a generational talent and felt like they could provide him with a better path to first-team football. In the summer of 2024, they convinced him to make the switch to Anfield. Not the first time a player has left Chelsea and ended up succeeding at Liverpool. Chelsea naturally weren't happy. Reports even indicated that the club took the case to a tribunal, arguing that Liverpool had essentially poached one of their top prospects. That shows just how highly they valued Rio. But for the youngster, it was all about ambition. At Liverpool though, he saw a manager and a club with a real track record of promoting young players and giving them chances at the top level. Leaving Chelsea where he had grown up was not easy, but he arrived at Liverpool with a point to prove. And it didn't take long for coaches and other players to realize they had something special on their hands. Rio officially joined the Liverpool Academy in 2024 right after turning 16, and he pretty much immediately made an impression. At 5'7", he wasn't the biggest player, but his speed, skill, and flair stood out right away. Coaches saw a brave attacker who loved running at defenders and had the ability to both score and set up goals. Basically the perfect modern forward. Arne Slot, who has a history of trusting young players, also quickly took notice. Just months after arriving, Rio was invited to train with the first team during an international break. It was crazy because one week he was with the under-18s, and the next he was sharing the pitch with stars like Salah and Van Dijk. By December of 2024, Slot even named him on the bench for a League Cup match against Southampton. Now he didn't even get on the pitch that day, but sitting on the bench at Anfield as a 16-year-old was a huge step. What stood out most was his attitude. Despite his quick rise, he was actually very grounded. He focused on learning from the senior players and worked hard to prove himself every time he got a chance. He also played in the UEFA Youth League for the Liverpool under-19s, including a game against AC Milan, where once again he showed he was ahead of everyone else his age. His progress was so impressive that The Guardian put him in their Next Generation 2024 list of the best young talents in the Premier League. One cool story from his Chelsea days when he was training there was that he actually crossed paths with Raheem Sterling, another youngster who broke into the Liverpool team. Sterling told him, when you lose the ball, make sure you stay in the game.
Like one player that's taught to me is Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, a proper guy, top guy.
Yeah, no, he's proper. He's top. He tells me, like, I remember one time he brought me to the side and he was just like, when you lose the ball, just make sure you're always in the game, because at our level, like, everything goes fast paced. So you just have to always be on it, and then you can do a little bit.
Seeing how Sterling made it at Liverpool gave Rio a path to follow, and now he's trying to walk that same road. Rio's big moment finally came in January of 2025. He made his first team debut for Liverpool in an FA Cup tie against Accrington Stanley. And no, he wasn't just on the bench, he was straight into the starting lineup. Imagine that, a 16-year-old walking out of Anfield in front of the Kop. Yet Rio still played with the same fearless energy that he's always shown. At just 16 years and 135 days old, he became the youngest player ever to start a competitive game for Liverpool. He also set the record as the club's youngest FA Cup player, and only one player in the club's entire history had debuted younger, and that was Jerome Sinclair, who came on as a sub back in 2012. The difference though is obviously that Rio was trusted to start, which shows you just how highly the staff rates him. Liverpool cruised to a 4-0 win that game, and while Rio didn't get on the score sheet, he still looked very sharp. He showed flashes of his dribbling, made some great runs, and linked up seamlessly with the senior player. He lasted 71 minutes before coming off to a standing ovation from the home fans. Arne Slot praised his composure and stated that this was only the beginning of his journey.
He can dominate one-for-one situations. He's very quick on his feet. He can change directions really fast, and I'm always happy if a player makes his debut that he shows what we see on the training ground as well.
For Rio, that night was surreal. In fact, afterwards he admitted it was a dream come true, but he also made sure to point out that it was just the beginning. After his FA Cup debut, Rio's first team chances naturally went down, because remember, he was only 16 at the time. So he spent most of his time with the under-18s and the under-21s. But it was clear that Liverpool had a path for him. When the 2025 preseason started, he was included in the senior squad for their summer tour, a big sign that he was moving closer to the first team. Liverpool's preseason that year was pretty busy. The squad traveled to Asia, playing friendlies in Hong Kong and Japan. And of course, Rio was brought along. Sensing an opportunity, he really grabbed the chance. It's crazy because while some of the senior players really struggled on these poor pitches, Rio showed out. Coming on against Yokohama Marinos, he scored the final goal in a 3-1 win, and just looked fearless every time he got the ball. In just 26 minutes, he dribbled past multiple defenders, showed off his pace, and made it clear why people can't stop talking about him. His goal really summed up his abilities, picking up the ball near the halfway line, ignoring an easy pass, running straight past the defense, skipping past the challenge, and then firing a cool finish into the back of the net. What makes Rio stand out is that his dribbling isn't just for show. He's not an aesthetic merchant. He's very direct, he dribbles with purpose, and he loves running at the fullbacks. He stays high and wide, which gives him a lot of space. Then he uses his speed and close ball control to beat players. Against Milan, he gave Tomori a lot of problem, creating an assist for Szoboszlai after forcing the defender backward with his footwork. He also got a goal himself that game. By the time that Liverpool were back at Anfield for warm-up matches, the hype was growing. On August 4th, 2025, in a double-header friendly against Bilbao, Rio started the match and lit it up.
We'll have it back. And the buzz as Ngumoha gets the ball and runs. Oh my goodness me! Is there anything he can't do? Rio Ngumoha with another stunning moment for Liverpool.
Moments later, he drove forward again and set up Nunez for the second. Liverpool won 4-1, and when Rio came off, fans gave him a standing ovation, chanting his name. At just 16 years old, he already had the cop on his side. Across preseason, he finished with 2 goals and 2 assists in 4 games. More than the stats though, it was how he looked, confident, dangerous, and comfortable playing alongside seasoned international. Reporters called his impact astonishing, especially for someone so young. Every time that journalists tried to calm down the hype, Rio would do something crazy and raise the expectations again. The timing was also perfect. Liverpool had sold Luis Diaz to Bayern and surprisingly had not bought a direct replacement. This opened the door for a clear path for him and showed just how much they actually value Rio. Slot already has Gakpo, Wirtz, and Ekitike, who can all play on the left. But the coaches see Rio as part of the first team picture now. They don't want to block his path. By mid-August, the question wasn't if Rio would play a competitive Premier League match. It was when. And as we know, the answer came in a dramatic fashion just weeks later with that unforgettable late winner at Newcastle. Rio is a winger / attacking midfielder who really thrives on taking defenders on. He usually plays off the left side where he can cut in onto a stronger right foot, but he's also comfortable playing centrally behind a striker. He offers Slot with a great profile, someone who has pace, skill, but is also so direct. He plays without fear, and even though he's not the biggest, his low center of gravity combined with his quick feet and clever movement give him an edge over everyone. He's already shown that he can stay calm and composed in front of goal. We saw it in preseason, we've saw it in the Premier League. By the way, if you guys want your own Rio jersey or a Liverpool jersey in general, go to buygamejerseys.com and use code PETTALKS at checkout. Another underrated trait of Rio is his footballing intelligence. He makes a lot of really smart runs, finding the space in the box, and just seems to be one of those players who's always in the right place at the right time. The fact that he has such a good work rate without the ball makes him a huge asset. The advice that Raheem Sterling gave him, which was to stay locked in and focus even when you don't have the ball, has clearly had an impact on Rio, because coaches have noticed how much better his work rate and work without the ball has improved. Now, when it comes to comparisons, the name that often comes up the most is Raheem Sterling. It's easy to see the similarities. Both are quick, fearless wingers from London who broke through at Liverpool as teenagers. Some people see a bit of Michael Owen in him as well because of how explosive and decisive he already is as a teenager. But naturally, Rio is writing his own story. He is his own player. In fact, you could even argue that he has a more natural eye for goal and better ball striking than Sterling did at the same stage. We've already seen Rio score so many different types of goals, curling efforts, one-on-ones, even solo runs. It's that mix of being both a creator and a finisher that makes people think that he can really develop into a top-level star if nurtured properly. Liverpool also need him desperately. With so many departures, they're really lacking depth. They need more attackers to rotate so he will get his opportunities. And Rio himself has also made it clear that he's hungry but patient. This balanced mentality will serve him well. He's ambitious, but he's not getting carried away with the hype. Now, on top of Rio, Liverpool fans have a lot to be hyped about when it comes to their team. To see how good this new Liverpool side is, you have to check out this video right here.